Welcome to Decoding 40 After Dark.
Yeah, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen out there?
What up? What up?
We got Rick chewing on whatever the fuck you chewing on over there. Probably some what is that? Some sort of it's got to be from Whole Foods. Probably organic, like trail mix.
Organic nuts. Oh.
Yo, the smacking is killing me right now, son. You
right,
fucking.
I'm done.
You're killing me right now. Yeah, smackety fucking smacks over there.
I'm done. I just had to throw that in my mouth real quick.
Pause.
I'm trying to give you as many alley oops as I can in the next couple minutes.
Well done.
Oh man, so what's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today?
Doing great.
In live world.
Great. Oh, we got a guest tonight.
Yes, we do. Mac, you gonna introduce the gentleman? Mac's like, what? Jesus Christ, Jesus fucking Christ.
Vin, why don't you introduce
All right, I'm gonna introduce him
This week.
I'm gonna introduce him because I know this guy. We go way fucking back. We go back to like high school, right? So a quick backstory.
He's already rubbing his eyes.
Yeah.
please don't tell that story again.
Nah, we go way back, man, because this guy was used to hang out with me and my man Mike, and it would always be some fucking jokes and some snapping going on. And you know, so I'm not gonna say it's government on the show, but we used to have some crazy snap battles and hang out, and we used to all hang out at all the Long Island parties and run into each other at different clubs and had high tops and all that other good shit. You know what I mean? But you know, without further ado, I'm gonna welcome my man Nat Turner. He's got his show on YouTube, Waking the Giant. Okay, it's a New York-based international and local news platform owned by G-Span Network, hosted by Nat Turner. Waking the Giant is the antithesis, of corporate media working to deliver accurate information, news, and investigative research. His goal is to expand on current events, offer insight, and illuminate local and worldwide issues. Without no further ado, I'm going to bring out my man, Nat Turner. What's going on, man?
Hey, brother. Thank you for having me.
Bro. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. See, Vin, you did a great fucking job, man. It's a great job.
Yeah, you know, I was fumbling
doing the introduction. Give it up for Vin.
I was fumbling a bit because courtesy of this 1792, you know, it gets you a little tipsy there, you know. So what's going on, Nat, man? How you been, brother?
All is well, man. All is well. How you brothers doing?
Good,
man.
Good
to finally talk to you.
Oh, yeah.
So,
likewise.
So where are we talking to you from?
I like that it's 11 o'clock. It gave me a chance to whoop the kids before I decided to get up on you.
I'm not from my own heart.
Get your asses to bed. Daddy got to work.
What's happening?
Where are we talking to you from?
Right now, I'm sitting like in the corner of like my little den area, but I'm in Long Island.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still out here in Long Island, New York. And I think Vinny left out a few particular moments, but we're not going to get into them. One particular moment where we went to the city and got a really good bag of treats. All right, I'm going to leave that
there. Look. Shh. Nah, man. Those we like I said, we're talking high school, so damn. Yeah. That's 30 years ago.
Yeah,
it's funny when you say something like, "Yeah, the other day, like 1990," and they're like, "No, nigga, that's 20-something years ago." That's not the other day. That's 2 decades ago.
Yeah,
but man. So what's been going on in your life, brother?
Just you know, a lot of work. Trying to stay active on the ground. Of course, you know, working, kids. Trying to move socially and politically. You know, we got a few good things happening. I was blessed to be introduced to my brother Sharif Bey some time ago, like when I met you and these brothers then came up. Now we have a brother who's about to probably take the next seat as the mayor of Syracuse. And I'm talking about one of us, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
that's
look
big.
like us, talk like us, walk like us. So, you know, it's just so it's just a lot of work on the ground, man. That's it.
So what I mean, because again, we came back from high school and we all go our separate ways and go to school and things of that nature. So what got you really motivated to get into politics and to do the show and everything else, you know, Waking the Giant?
Oh man, that's a great question. As you know, from a youngster, you know, I was part and parcel of the 5% Nation. So you know, that got me to begin arguing in the street, you know what I mean, and studying also. Then from there, man, again, going to college, running into different people, you know, really falling in love with sociology. And then again, meeting with some brothers that changed my life. Like I was mentioning, the brother Sharif Bey, Khalid Bey, just running into some really good people and not really understanding how invested I really was in this shit until really was in this until
Now you can curse.
Bro,
okay.
you can curse.
Yeah,
Stop
it. You motherfucker. You can motherfucking curse in this motherfucker. It's our motherfucking show.
Yeah, but no, for real though. But looking at our people, and as you know, man, Vinny, you know, having the folks that we came up with, you know, is just looking at the situations, conditions on the ground of some of our people, and just realizing that, you know, things didn't align, like politically, socially, you know, of course, understanding our main issue was always socioeconomic, but things didn't align politically and socially. So I just further investigation into stuff like that, man. And that was it. Now it's ruined me now. Now, you know, I'm probably gonna have a heart attack from this shit now. You know, like.
Well, Nat, I got a couple of questions for you, because we were just having a discussion about this new administration just came in. They're brand new. Right. There's been a lot of criticism so far. You know, in just the first few days. So what's your take on the first few days of the Biden administration?
To be very honest with you, it's like a double-edged sword. So the first few days, it's really hard to say because it's only been what 4 days, 5 days, or what have you. But let's just put it this way. I understand. Let's start here. I understand the criticism because although it is a brand new administration, it's not a brand new administration. It's a recycle of the, you know, past 4 administrations that you've seen. And I mean literally a recycle of people. You know, Biden's administration is pretty much made up of the same cohorts from the Obama administration, who's pretty much made up of the same cohorts from the Clinton administration. Now we all know that if a group of people doesn't get something, I'm going to answer your question. I'm sorry, brother, but if a group of people doesn't get something right the first time, you know, why would we allow these same people to do the same shit again? You know, that's where a lot of people's criticism is really coming from. Like, you know, those who's in the know, they're familiar with these faces and they're just rotating people. Now, in the first few days, let's be honest. In the first few days, between the Paris rejoining the Paris Climate Accord, yeah, that's a plus, right? Like you can't deny that. Shutting down the pipeline, the Energy Transfer Partners pipeline, for the what is that? The sand oil, the tar sand oils. That's a plus. Him actually putting Deb Haaland, a Native American, inside of the department to run the Department of Interior. That's a huge plus right there. That's huge. That's huge, right? Like so I don't deny none of that right there, right? Oh, and the real shining star, our Boricua brother Miguel Cordona, is the Secretary of Education, right? Like here's a Boricua brother from Connecticut who actually took critical race theory. I don't know if people are familiar with that, but it's the most cogent argument on racism that I've ever read, and the most people who've ever read it has ever read. Like it gets right down to it, and he's actually matriculated that into the school system, not just as an elective, but as like a core curriculum. And he got in a lot of trouble for that up in Connecticut. So to take a person like him and place him as the Secretary of Education. I thought that was a pretty bold move. I thought that was a pretty good move. Now let's get to the other shit.
Right. So to Alaric's point, though, a lot of the criticism that I've seen has been from Black folk who think, and here's a specific criticism that I've heard. Oh, your boy went and reversed the immigration stance, but he ain't do nothing for you Black folks. You Black folks are still getting taken. So what I'm trying to understand is, what is it that Black folks or these critics, what did they expect to happen through executive order, or what do you think he could have done to at least assuage some of that criticism for Black folks?
That's an excellent question. Before I get to that, I just want to say this: the other side of what I was saying with regard to cabinet appointments is you do have a Michelle Flourney, who's a sociopath. You do have a Lloyd Austin, although it looks good as Secretary of Defense, but a board member of Raytheon Technology, which is a goddamn defense contractor whose job is to make weapons to kill people. You do have John Kerry. I don't know why he's playing the climate role. Like, this dude, his whole billionaire fortune is based on fossil fuels. So you have to look at all of that as well. You can't just overlook that. Neera Tanden, to run the Office of Management and Budget, this is the same chick who got caught on an email saying as rationale for the war in Libya, which created slave states, by the way, a slave market, an open slave market. And you all are aware of that. It's created an open slave market that nobody has ever took any issue with. But nevertheless, Neera Tanden, who got caught up on an email saying that we have a deficit and they have oil, and that was her rationale for going to war. Now, to your question, because I just wanted to make sure that we get both sides of what Biden was putting in to order.
Right.
Okay? And there's a few more, but nevertheless, to your question though, what's funny? I posed that same criticism, but from I skewed it a little differently, because what I was talking about was quid pro quo. Okay. A tool that's been part of our politics for the last 100 years, right? Quid pro quo. That means you do something for me, I do something for you, right? Mm-hmm. That's how we see it work in the Jewish community. It's how we see it work in the Asian community. It's how it works in every other community. So what happens is, when you have Black people that show up at a 90%, I think it was 98% for Black women and like maybe 90% for Black men, or just shy of 90%. And when they get what I like to say is the more insignificant seats. So, and when I say insignificant, I don't mean like, I'm not talking symbolism, right? I'm talking about seats that will allow people to help their people on the ground. For example, like I just mentioned, Deb Haaland, that's a major move for Native Americans, major move. That's a real big move. We didn't get that. So, and to be very honest with you, the one place that could have been fair, because you wanted to know what he could have done for Black people,
right?
One place that would have been fair would have been the U.S. Department of Agriculture. That would have been something that helped Black people on the ground. Not only the Black farmers who sued for billions of dollars, under the Obama administration, when Tom Vilsack was the secretary of the USDA, who subsequently is now the secretary again, the same person who
right.
brought up on charges of racism.
Right. I think that was definitely the wrong move.
Misstep.
Yeah,
that was definitely a misstep. But I can't remember the woman who got caught up in that whole controversy. But
Shirley, is it?
It was too. They were really advocating for her to take that role. It was too loaded. But too loaded because America would have to admit to so much wrongdoing, and putting her in that role, they couldn't do it.
But she fell on the sword.
But they should not have put that dude. They should not have put him.
I mean, he got caught up 2 administrations ago, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, we should have just left him alone completely.
Exactly.
But I think who you're referring to was the one who Jim Clyburn asked Biden to put in office.
Yes.
That was Marcia Fudge. Okay.
Yes.
Marcia, her whole life's work has been agriculture.
Yeah.
Like that's what she's supposed to do.
She came to the public's attention when she made that statement about helping this white farmer.
But that's not
no.
Right.
No. That's not Fudge.
That's not Fudge. That's the sister from Atlanta who I was talking about, and that's how Tom Vilsack got caught with his pants down by firing that sister who you're talking about.
Right.
And then trying to rehab, because when he fired her, he used some Breitbart video, right? That was edited and loaded up.
Yeah, we all saw that video.
Right. To make it seem like she was just like unsympathetic towards this white farmer, when it was completely in reverse. When we got to see the whole video, and as you see, Maxine Waters and everybody came to her aid. The sister wound up leaving the job. Remember, she said, "I can't do this anymore." Yeah. And I think as black men who worked a 9 to 5, if you weren't business owners from a baby and if you worked a 9 to 5, I think you could understand the pressure that this sister was putting up with, to the point where she was like, "Yo, my health means more than going back under the auspices of this guy."
Right.
I have a question. How do you feel about Buttigieg in transportation? What is your thoughts on that?
So here's my thing with Buttigieg, period, right? Like, Buttigieg is like one of those apples that fell like really far from the tree. His father is like this dynamic fucking Marxist from Princeton University. He's like a reverend. This dude is like one of the smartest people that I've ever seen like speak, right? One of them. And as you can see, Pete Buttigieg is pretty intelligent. Okay, he's no slouch. This is a savvy mother sucker. All right, like that I don't take away from him. But when you see what's taking place in Indiana under his watch, it's almost like, do you allow your children to go to the park after they left the room dirty? Like, you say, no, you got to clean up that room first, right? Well, his job was to clean up his area in Indiana where he had purview over. And he did a terrible job there in race relations. He did a terrible job there in terms of economically. Mm-hmm. So it's like, why are we rewarding fucked up behavior?
Right. And everybody talks about Chicago, but Gary, Indiana is more problematic than Chicago.
Brother, Camden, New Jersey got both of them on the feet, all right? Camden's like this big, all right? Like, but
I don't think it was a personality issue with Buttigieg. In I think it's an issue of, can you really control the area that you've been elected to control? Can you control that? Because I was looking at Andrew Yang this morning, and he's proposing to run for mayor of New York City. And I like Andrew Yang. I think he's got a lot of positive things to put out in the air in New York, and he could probably influence some really interesting things. But he is nowhere near tough enough to run this city. He can't do it.
And when you say tough enough, like on what like, what do you mean?
I mean, you have to really be a tough character to be able to run a city this large and this politically charged. Like, because everything is politics in the city. From sanitation to to the police to teachers. You cannot be soft. You got to be hard.
Well, you would think that, right? Because
no, it's absolutely the truth.
No,
De Blasio's hard.
No, De Blasio's
soft. No, I don't think De Blasio's hard. Okay, I think De Blasio is mad soft.
Yeah,
I think he's tall as shit, but he's mad soft.
He's mad soft.
So would you call like his predecessor hard, like Bloomberg?
Bloomberg, definitely.
Okay, I don't think Bloomberg's hard. I think he's a fucking opportunist at the end of the day. And what winds up,
I think Bloomberg knew how to run an organization, and that's what he was. That was what he was about.
Bloomberg
ran it like a business.
He knew how to bend
fingers. The motherfucker built himself. He built himself a third term, and then closed the door behind him.
Right. And that's why he's a thug. And that's why
that's what I'm saying.
He got the laws rewritten just for me, did the third time, and then changed it back. That's
Yeah.
gangster.
Right.
So is that?
It's
Let me ask
gangster.
you something. Is that good governance?
Terrible, but it's gangster.
Okay,
It's
no,
gangster.
gangster, but is it good governance? Because let me ask you something.
I would say Michael Bloomberg was more effective as a mayor than de Blasio.
So
Yeah, I'd agree.
Effective for whom?
yeah, I was going to say this.
Effective for the city as a whole.
Mhm.
Not to say that not as effective for the city as a whole. Yes, I would say Bloomberg was a more effective mayor than
me,
de
In
Blasio.
what respect, though? In what respect?
Yeah, I want to hear that.
I think the beacon of de Blasio's, of Bloomberg's entire his entire term was 311. It's an amazing thing where you can call this number 311 and you can reach any department in the city. Why wasn't this done before?
But that was coming regardless, because other cities were implementing things like that. We weren't the first ones to have that, and other cities have it since then. And my issue,
no other city is New York City.
No
other city is New York City.
So
this city is a beast, and to be able to coordinate all of these different departments, like these are all separate entities. Like now we see them as just city business, right? But they are all separate entities. You're talking from transit to Department of Transportation to sanitation, all of these different departments. And now there's a place where you can go to.
Yes, and you know what his trade-off was? His trade-off was to leverage his financial acumen against the people and the lower class. Because guess what? The licenses, the fees, everything went up. I remember a parking ticket or a ticket, any ticket, the Mack ticket. No, not speeding, because they're gonna clown me about my speeding.
Parking. I remember you had a problem.
I'm talking about double park. I remember the maximum ticket was $35 to $55. After Bloomberg came in, they crept up to $75, $110, $115, and $150. So the trade-off of all of those wonderful things that you're saying was he amplified the revenue by putting the burden on the lower class. And that is the legacy of Bloomberg.
You also have to think about what traffic is like now. You also have to think of what quality of life is like now.
Bloomberg,
we do. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Let me finish.
Get him, Matt.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Let's go.
I live in Flatbush, Brooklyn, right? And
let's talk about it.
Motherfuckers would triple park, not double park. Motherfuckers would triple park.
4 vans.
Right? Now, at least they'll say, all right, fuck it. I'm not going to triple park. I'll just double park because that triple park ticket is going to be $115. They're not going to do it. Right? So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about quality of life, because we also need to get around, right? We also need to move around the city. So if the penalty for doing something becomes higher, we're less likely to do it, right?
So here's my.
So that's how I said the quality of life may have been improved just from that.
Well, so here it is. You said quality of life, and that's a pretty vague or pretty large statement to make. So when you say so we all look at different areas, right? Now yours was parking tickets. His area was about finance itself. My area would be about people, which is combined with what the gentleman just said about finance. Under Bloomberg, the homeless rate tripled by 3 times. So to me, that's not really like a quality.
He gave him bus tickets to Florida.
No, you're right. You're right about that. Florida and California.
Snowbird there, right?
But that was actually. But you know what that was? That was a buffer. That was a buffer so that it wouldn't be exposed, right? So you get them out of the state. The number doesn't get exposed. Mm-hmm. Also on top of that, under Bloomberg, there was a great deal, and I mean, this is just neoliberal policy. It's not just Bloomberg. It's everyone is coming in because this is how the government works now, right? So under Bloomberg, you also seen a good deal of privatization and deregulation. And what happens is under those things, right? Because Bloomberg, if I guess if you want to say he's the ideal mayor for New York, whatever works. But privatization.
No, that's what I was saying.
I
said he was more effective.
But you were saying he's ideal for New York. You looked at him like the ideal person as opposed to de Blasio.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Right. So the problem is that Bloomberg just knew what to do with his money. That the next mayor of New York, which is where you were going with this, the next mayor of New York is going to be the same person who has to get in bed with the developers. That's where it starts at the top. If you're not in bed with the real estate and commercial developers in New York, you will not become mayor. That's just how the game works. You have to be able to ration out, support 421A programs, right? Which is where the public, now think about this, under Bloomberg, the 421A program exploded. If you're not familiar with that, is anybody familiar with that? The 421A?
No.
That's the New York Senate program, and I'm sure my man who just talking finance, he'll be real interested in this one. That's the New York Senate program, whereas the public has to subsidize through tax dollars developers what they want to develop. So, for example, like you see Brooklyn, like you see Manhattan. First of all, don't even play like you ain't see Bed-Stuy. Let's stop acting like we're not seeing what's happening right there. You are taking hold on through the 421A program. You're taking poor people's money to give to developers to build buildings that poor people can't live in.
Right.
So they're paying to be gentrified out of their neighborhood.
Williamsburg, Long Island City,
name it.
Bushwick,
Stuyvesant,
East New York,
Long Island City.
I'm not saying that. I am not saying that government is working in our favor.
In anyone's favor, unless you're rich. If you have a lot of money, then I guess it is working in your favor.
But tell me how de Blasio did a better job of it.
See, here's the thing. You didn't hear me say
because
that.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Anybody would agree to that.
No, what I'm saying is that at the very least, Bloomberg was able to advocate for something other than just getting taken advantage of. And I feel like de Blasio just got taken advantage of.
So you're probably right. Bloomberg is a developer. So when he went into office with his cronies and his folks. De Blasio is a borough president who worked his way into there only to be buffeted by the developers. I mean, I thought de Blasio initially when he ran, it's like it was like the Obama run. Like I thought de Blasio
pulled out his black kid and was like, "Look at my black son."
That's how he got over. He got over on Dante.
And think about the time. Think about the time it was in because we were just coming off Bloomberg's stop and frisk program. It was declared unconstitutional, but that wasn't good enough for Bloomberg. He said, "No, we got to lock these niggas up." So he went and fought with the Supreme Court, the New York Supreme Court Justice. I can't remember the Jewish sister's name. He went and fought with that sister and even tried to get her you can't get her disbarred. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, he tried to get, and the Supreme Court is not the highest court in New York State. The appellate court is. Yeah. So he tried to get that decision only in New York State. So he tried to get that decision overturned. And it didn't work. But that tells me a lot. That once the Supreme Court spoke and told you, yo, listen, this program is unconstitutional. Yeah, and I was a victim of it, so I can speak to it firsthand. You're just throwing me on a wall and going in my pockets, frisking me, and there's no probable cause for this. Like, let's be honest, no real probable cause. So and that was heavy during the Bloomberg era.
Yes, I remember.
Also, with the homeless rate exploding, increasing, like you said, bus ticking them out of here, right? When you put all these things together, I just don't see a good 13, 12 years that we had with this guy.
I didn't say I didn't say,
I don't know if he said good. I think he said effective.
I said more effective in terms of running the city. But I mean, if we go back to like episodes when Bloomberg was in the Democratic race for president.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
And I said if it was Bloomberg and Trump, I wouldn't vote because I'm not going to choose. I'm not in it to choose which racist I want to be president.
Right.
Because I'm not forgetting about the stop and frisk. I didn't forget about that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't forget about. That's the problem. I guess I didn't forget about a lot of Jiggy Joe Biden's, racist tendencies that he's had over quite a stretch. Yeah. I mean, just because he served under Obama, that didn't clean anything up for me. And I'm not trying to bash Joe Biden, but I'm just being honest. Like if we're gonna call a spade, and we're gonna call these people racist for who they are, Joe Biden's on the record as a racist. Like he's on the record with busing alone. He's on the record as a racist. With not just a racist, but also I would like to say I like to call them classist, right? Like because Joe Biden has 3 or 4 times tried to get rid of Social Security. 3 or 4 times. 3 or 4 times. Joe Biden led the charge in his form of criminal justice reform because he didn't have good ideas, and that was the only thing he could run on to maintain the Senate. This is a guy. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say this, but back to the Buttigieg thing, Biden thing. A lot of these people that we're talking about, I'm very excited about. What's her name? Deb Holmes.
Deb Holland.
Deb Holland. Mm-hmm. That made my whole day. But a lot of the people politically, what a lot of people don't realize, and Buttigieg is one of these people. What a lot of people don't realize is 50% of their job. There's what they do in the streets, their ability to speak, their ability to move people, but 50% of their job is raising money. And a lot of people don't know that how much of their job is actually going, smiling, and dialing and being able to raise dollars. So a lot of these people are in these seats because they're able to pick up the phone and raise money. Buttigieg is one of those guys. Buttigieg raised an enormous amount of money. Same thing with Jamie Harrison. Same thing with a lot of these. Same thing with Stacey Abrams. A lot of these people, even our heroes, they're able to raise money. So part of them being in these seats is their ability to move the financial dial, not just the social dial. So as much as I would love to just lean on the social dial, I understand there's a business component of this political game that we may not be privy to.
Jamie Harrison.
And you know what's crazy? Like, I wholeheartedly agree with your assessment. The only problem is that's the problem.
Right. Exactly.
Citizens United is a fucking problem. Okay.
No argument.
Money in politics. Listen, because I'm with you on this. Like I'm not this guy. Like I said, I may look at things from the social aspect a lot, but I'm not this guy that's so caught up into that I forget about economic justice. Like, hold on, wait a minute. There's a whole separate component, and it's called economics. Because I'm always reflecting on my people. So it's a whole separate component that sometimes we get lost in the whole social idea of things, right? And we don't look at the economic idea of things. Like I always say, this country is built on both of those systems combining. Like, so when you hear people say, oh, I'm no socialist and I'm no, you don't like socialism? Then don't you go drive that car on the fucking road because that road is socialism.
Right.
Oh, you don't like socialism? Tell your mama to give back that Social Security check that we're paying into right now.
Right.
You don't like socialism? Don't put your fucking money in the stock market right here where the SEC protects it. Go to an unregulated fucking market if you don't like socialism. Okay? The truth is that capitalism has to combine with socialism. Otherwise, we have fascism. And that socialism without capitalism would only be communism. Like this is what it is. These are so I'm saying what you just said, brother, that there's a whole other side of this that we have to look at and take into consideration, but we have to understand that money in politics is the fucking problem.
I want to hop in here, and I'm glad we went back up to the federal level. And I just want to say I really like your hot takes on
Appreciate
what's happening in the federal system. What are your thoughts on Jim Clyburn? I personally think he has overstayed his welcome. I know that he has some efficacy in terms of where he is and his seniority in the House. But one thing that pops out to me is that when Black women in particular were saying that Joe Biden needed to pick a Black woman as his VP, he was suggesting that was a reach and that they did not necessarily need. Biden did not necessarily have to pick a Black woman, and it was I might be paraphrasing, but the gist of what he was saying, it was inappropriate to make that sort of demand in this time. So what are your thoughts on Clyburn, and has he outlived his usefulness in the House?
And I like the way you actually posed that question. Thank you. Listen, I'm not going to, can I be Nat Turner on here?
Yo,
yeah, this is why you're here.
Right here, my guy.
Jim Clyburn
to Decoding 40, my guy.
Right. All right. Jim Clyburn is a fucking old hound dog to me, okay? And the reason I say that, with all due respect,
right, no doubt.
The reason I say that, my mama and my whole family, who I love, is from South Carolina, born and raised, all right? And I'm pretty sure some of y'all folks is from the same place,
exactly.
All right? Jim Clyburn has been in office for about 3 decades and has managed to maintain the poorest districts, some of the poorest districts in South Carolina. Has managed to maintain that. To me, goddamn, that's a feat. How do you keep motherfuckers poor? Like you managed to maintain that. But beyond that, right? We still needed that representation to a certain degree. Now here's the fucked up thing. That I kind of agree with Jim Clyburn. I don't like, as a Black man, I'm telling you, and as a pro-Black brother, and really pro-positivity, anti-negativity, because I'm down for it all, as long as it's right. As a brother who really cares about his people, I kind of agree with Jim Clyburn a little bit on that, because you can't don't mandate symbolism to us. Put the right person for the job in the job. Like, I don't care if they white. If they're going to improve my life and improve my children's life and my family's life, then that's the person who needs to be in the job. Not just because you put a Black person in. That's not going to do anything for my family. Symbolism don't pay the bills. Symbolism won't change generations. So that's my take on that with Jim Clyburn. So I completely detest Jim Clyburn as the number 3 hound dog over in the Congress, right? I completely detest him, but at the same time, I can agree on some of the things that he may have said. Like, to me that makes sense. That's where he was trying to go with it. He was trying to say, put the right.
I get that. Where I feel like he fell on his face is that you had Black women who were able and willing to take that role on.
He knew Joe wasn't picking them.
Wait. Okay. All right.
So then, to me, why the fuck are you there?
Wait, let
me finish this point. You need to be in Joe's ear and say, Joe, Kamala is ready to be president right now. Why is she not your first pick? Why are you waiting 6 weeks?
Kamala couldn't poll at 6% out of her own state.
That's why. But
there you go, brother.
My problem is my problem with the Clyburn bashing.
That's not bashing.
No. Just the general tone is a little anti-Clyburn-y. My issue is this. He not only saved Biden's campaign, but probably America. And we need to understand what he did in South Carolina was transformative. Joe Biden would have lost.
Hold on.
If Clyburn hadn't stepped into the gap. And
respectfully, I get that point.
And respectfully, Bernie would have lost. Bernie would have lost against Trump.
Here's the thing. I don't know that. I like Bernie's policies. Like straight up.
I do too.
I love Bernie policies, but let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. Because two things could be true at the same time, right?
Yes.
Number one, Bernie, although I love his policies, Bernie is a sucker. And Bernie doesn't have the cojones Bernie's persona doesn't match his policies. Like, you remember you were saying that somebody has to be effective and strong to come in and tell the 1%, the motherfucker, you're gonna pay a 30% tax on all of your passive earnings.
Yeah.
Right? To come in and do that, you got to be that guy, right? It ain't happening anyway. Okay, we know that it ain't happening anyway. But the other thing that could be true at the same time,
because that guy is actually a girl. I think that was Elizabeth Warren.
And that's a whole
That's
different conversation right there, right? Like, but the other thing that's true at the same time is that, at least to my estimation, is that Joe Biden ain't saving no America. Joe Biden is got the stall program going on.
No. Joe Biden is going to save America, but it's not the new America. He's going back to status quo.
This is what I mean. Is that saving? What you're doing.
It absolutely is saving, because the other version that we had for the last 4 years, there was not a hopeful outcome for us.
How did we get that other version?
4 more years of Trump would have destroyed democracy.
Oh, hold on. We're not arguing that. How did we get Trump? How did we get him?
We got Trump because we had Obama, and white people got terrified. They were terrified.
No, but it's not just a black thing. That's part of it, but it's not just a black thing. Think about it. No. Because before we had Obama, who did we have?
Bush.
W.
Are we forgetting how destructive Bush was to American democracy?
It wasn't Bush, though.
No.
It wasn't Bush. It wasn't Bush. It was Cheney.
Yes, you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Bush. Cheney, Rumsfeld, and Bush. It's all under the same administration.
Right.
How did we get Bush? Through Clinton. This is my point. This is nothing more than a seesaw. Let's start looking at it for what it really is. It's a seesaw. Yeah.
Reactionary.
Status quo, which is nothing more than neoliberal policies again. And what's going to happen? You're going to have a more intelligent, more strategic neo-fucking fascist in the next 4 to 8 years.
Oh, for facts.
That will definitely happen. They've already signed the paperwork to start their own party and get that ball moving.
Right.
And they're grooming Nikki Haley to be that person.
Look at who
so it can be Nikki Haley versus Kamala.
What we had to do with this Biden administration was try to bring this thing back.
Just put the
to
brakes on
normalcy.
Goddamn brakes on.
But it's not even normalcy.
Because when I'm saying normalcy, I'm like, black people are only here and not rioting and fucking murdering people every day because we believe in the idea that America can be better.
Right.
4 more years of Trump would have sealed the deal that this can't get any better. This is going to be fucked up. And why bother?
But I don't think nothing's really changed.
No.
Well,
That's too cynical.
What I'm saying is, I don't think nothing's changed from the attitude of the 75 million people who voted for him.
I don't give a fuck about those people.
No, but here's the thing:
the pendulum back to the other side. So I agree with what Nat is saying, is that it's going to swing back and forth.
It will.
But if it doesn't swing, if it keeps swinging to the right, that's more problematic than it having a natural progression of swinging back and forth.
Listen,
we saw that Trump was willing to send people to the Capitol to storm a building, right? Imagine if he won a second term,
where he didn't have to be reelected.
We would be on our way to him trying to pull a Bloomberg.
Here's the thing. I personally don't agree. I personally don't agree with the fact that, like my man said, that Bernie wouldn't have won. I don't agree with that. But we'll never be able to tell that, right? Because Bernie lost the primaries, and that's a wrap, right? Even though shit looked a little shady. but Bernie lost the primary.
The first time it looked real shady.
This is both times, but the first time was real shady.
The first time was
was like, nigga, turn off the lights. It was like a Dominican political election. Like, turn off the lights. Oh, we got a new winner. You know, one of those.
Yo, you know what? Real quick,
that goes to the point though that Bernie did not have the cojones, and Hillary did. She said, "This is my party. Shut him down."
And then, and then lost to an orange clown. So,
but you know what's crazy though? How Bernie showed up that next day
a little bit further
with the Band-Aid on his head, like they roughed his ass up.
Yeah,
like they took him into a hotel and said, "Listen,
Obama with them UFC elbows."
Because that's what I do.
Isn't that real? Because
that's what I do.
Because these political games are fucking serious.
Yo, but listen,
and like people are fucking relentless. They are heartless.
I fucking agree with you. What I'm saying is Trump was a failure at what he's trying to do. When you get a fucking Tom Cotton, when you get one of these motherfuckers in there, the next trip, brother, listen, at some point, I just think
Trump somehow failed up.
No, but listen, Trump was an inept. He's inept, first of all. He's an inept fucking terrorist. So that's just what it is, okay? Yeah. But what I'm saying is, listen, you can't come back with the neoliberal policies of free trade, privatize everything. Once you do that, you just open the door for a greater influx. Like, so for example, what you were just talking about on January 6th, right? Which, by the way, brothers, I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna speak freely. I enjoyed a little bit of that shit. I enjoyed knowing that Nancy Pelosi had to hide under a table. I enjoyed knowing that motherfuckers went in there and said, "Hang Mike Pence." When I seen Lindsey Graham at the airport, they was getting at him. Oh, I loved every minute of it. Because for 1 second, these arrogant fucking pricks got to feel what a poor person feels like. See, a poor person doesn't have a million people running through the Capitol door. What a poor person has is debt running through the door, no food running through the door, no heat running every day.
Police state.
The wolves who haven't eaten.
There you go. The wolves who haven't eaten.
Can't find a job.
So they were victimized.
I said on this story, the only people that were surprised by the behavior of those insurrectionists were other white people, because black people have been the target of this barbarism forever. As long as we've been in this country, we've seen that face.
Absolutely.
We've seen that half-painted fucking horn bison. Yeah. We've seen that motherfucker. Right. He tried to come through the door and rape our mama, right?
Right.
We saw that motherfucker.
No.
Only people who were afraid in that way or surprised were white people. Like, oh shit, they're coming after us.
Oh, would you look at this? These guys are crazy.
It was
I want to go back for
white racism coming after white people.
I want to clarify the point that I was making about Kamala. Not that she could have won the presidency. I'm saying that she was prepared, and she has made it very clear. The fact that she won the DA and the AG position is one thing, but I'm just saying she has the credentials and she has the fortitude to be president.
You was gonna turn off the white working class by putting Kamala at the top seat. It wasn't going to vote her in. I understand what you're saying.
No, I'm not talking about all the other demographics and the people who might have voted or might not have voted. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying in terms of having the fortitude and the skill set and the necessary experience to run this country. I believe she has it. So when black women stand up and they say, "We want you to put a black woman in a VP role," I think they have earned that, especially by delivering Georgia, and all the other states. If you're talking about Pennsylvania and what was the other one, Nevada and Arizona. So I think that there's an expectancy, and I feel like there's a shift that from now on, if I deliver for you, you better deliver for me.
No, black women carry the Democratic Party. Let's be honest about it, man. The Democratic Party wouldn't exist if it wasn't for black women.
Absolutely, but I think there's truth to the narrative that says that black people have gone along with the Democratic Party and have not gotten anything in return.
Absolutely.
So now, if there is a demand on the table, then it has to be reckoned with. It has to be acknowledged and it has to be dealt with. And if it's not, I think then black people really need to reconsider their relationship with the Democratic Party.
I think we need to reconsider
I think that's where we are now.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
We need to stop watching white crowds, start up their own social media network and start up their own political parties. Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we starting our own political party? We need our own party. Like that's without a doubt. It's about interest. I don't mean, does it necessarily have to be exclusively black? No, but it has to be exclusively speaking to black issues. Absolutely. And whatever sympathizers and supporters want to be a part of it, then that's fine. But the problem is we're dealing with, even when we say that, what Democrats do is they offer us this thing called diversity. And again, when you look at Biden's cabinets, outside of Deb Haaland, outside of Cardona, we have and outside of Marcia Fudge, because she did get HUD, right? She didn't even want HUD, but she took HUD. HUD is another good seat that could help us on the ground.
Absolutely.
And that's like an excellent seat that can help us on the ground if the federal government is not keeping their fingers in the cookie jar and limiting her from what she could do. So my point I was going to say, what you were saying about black people, is that this fake idea of diversity is nothing more than changing crooks around in a few different seats. I don't care if you put a female face on it, a black face on it. It's a fucking crook. It's a white face. It's a crook. So just changing it around and putting it there, Kamala wasn't the answer. I've always thought when the thing happened on the 6th and people said Kamala has to go down to the DOJ and she has to make sure that she demands an investigation. I'm like, damn right. And then after that, make sure they investigate Kamala's ass. Because
why is that?
Because of all the things, Kamala has set precedents in her state. It's one thing when you're a DA, right? It's a carceral job, right? Like when you take that job, I'm locking motherfuckers up. Like that. Like that's part of the program. But Kamala set precedents when she and I know you're familiar with this, when she created the program to jail parents for juvenile delinquents whose children didn't go to school, right? And like actually fostered and created and championed that program.
But she never jailed any parents though.
Yeah, right?
She never jailed any parents. Jailed until after she left.
Number one, she was the attorney general at that time, so she wasn't jailing anybody. Right. But it was her policy that she championed that sent 2 black women to jail, one of which has still not gotten her life together. I'm just telling you.
But here's the question: did that policy help more people?
No.
Than it hurt?
No.
Well, no, you can't say that. You can't say that because what that policy did was it had agencies go into homes and figure out why these children weren't going into schools. Why these children weren't going to school. So it wasn't just about jailing parents. It was also about motivating the social workers to get into these homes and figure out why these kids weren't going to school. So so we have to look at also, did this policy help more kids get back into schools? Did it help more kids or help more parents figure out how they can help their children get back to school? Because a lot of times when these kids weren't showing up to school, it was for some other fucked up reason where they were homeless. They're living in a car. Parents don't know what to do, don't know how to bathe them, don't have any place to go. Did that policy help them? Because if only 2 people got jailed and temporarily
out of a state of millions,
you got to find out what's on the other side.
No. So I was going to just about to say to you, I agree with that. Where we could argue with that is through the statistics. That's where our argument will lie. So you know what? That's something that I would actually look into. But even Kamala has since admitted that it was bad policy. So you can't argue for her policy to be good after she admitted that it was bad policy. The horse said it.
Right.
Definitely
I'm talking about intention.
No, I get, that's why I think you're right. That's why I think
because we can all make mistakes.
Right.
We can look back and say that wasn't the right way to go. But here, this is what I was trying to do.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Right, because that's the problem with policy is that it might have good intentions, but we all know that good intentions are the path to hell. So I think what she was hoping to do, or whatever that administration was hoping to do, I think the impact, if we're talking about only 2 people have been in prison, is on
prison
some level.
Or jail.
Yeah. That's
jail, not prison. I'm sorry. She went. They ain't go to San Quentin or no shit like that.
Oh, they just went to jail. Oh, then fuck it. She's cool. No,
that's fucked up.
Shoe program.
And make sure you edit this part. Don't let none of my people edit laughing and shit like that. Fucked up.
No, but I'm just saying that's marginal.
No, I get your point. I get your point. I mean, there's a litany list of fucked up shit Kamala did. Which is why
I didn't. Wait. I wasn't agreeing to that. But go ahead.
Yeah, but listen, it's the reason why she only polled at 6% in her own state.
Right.
It's a reason why. There's a reason. And just like the brother said, what you know, like there's intention behind what she did. We have to look at the other side of it. We have to look at the other side of why she only polled at 6% in her own state.
You know what? I'm gonna look more into that.
Yeah, definitely. So, but where we got here was what we were saying. What you were saying was, you're right. Black women hold up the Democratic Party. I think that Black people do need to reconsider their relationship. And listen, it's fine. It's not. You're not saying I'm leaving you and that's it.
Right.
What you're saying is, let me see what we can do for ourselves. Let's see what's out there. You know what happens? You know what happens when you do that? You get people nervous and you get people to start offering you shit. Then quid pro quo becomes real.
Well, I think in order for you to develop a separate party, right? And Malcolm alluded to this in the 60s. The white folks, especially now going into the future, if you're talking about them starting their own patriot party, what have you, they're going to be so evenly divided that the Black voting bloc is going to determine who is in the White House or who's in the doghouse, to quote Malcolm. So I think that to get that voting bloc, along with the economics to, get shit done. I forgot, I was watching a gentleman talk about it, like shit can't happen without money, and we got to buy our politicians like they buy their politicians. We have to get our lobbyists there. We have to make
Dr. Claude Anderson.
It might have been. We got to buy our politicians like they buy their politicians. But I mean, the voting bloc thing is important because it's been like that since the 60s, since they had rights to vote. They put those rights into effect. Mm-hmm. So along with the money, you definitely have to have that voting bloc. And that's what's going to be important, because right now they just come in here, they pander, they put hot sauce in their bag, and they do dumb shit like that. And then we get to what have you done for us lately? And just like it was in the 60s, it is right now where it's, oh, well, we'll get to you at the end of the day. And I think for the first time, we're at a crossroads in our communities where we don't want to wait into the end, nigga. We need our shit right now. Right. And Black Lives Matter and all these movements have created this synergy for just that. We are not going to wait anymore. So you have to come pay the piper at this point. So
I think that should be the party. I think the party should be Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
I think so. Well, let me explain why. I think that at this point, it's a rallying cry, right?
But it's a divisive rallying cry.
Well, it's divisive for white people.
No, it's divisive for black folk.
I was gonna say white people actually support it at like 81% or the 71 to 81% or some shit.
It's divisive for black folk, particularly for black men, because black men are not included on their platform.
Well, I'm not talking specifically about that organization.
See, that's
because it's much bigger than that now.
But that's the problem.
It has now superseded that beginning.
Some people think
that beginning. Well,
some people think that, but if you talk about the ADOS movement, or if you talk about the
look at the protests that happened in this country.
I get it, but
it's bigger than what originally began. So let me finish my point.
No, I don't want you to finish. I'm just joking. Go ahead.
I know you don't want to finish. So I think Black Lives Matter could be the political party that begins from now, and you have to, because it's not just about police brutality. It's not just about medical apartheid. It's not just about equality in finance and in equity in distribution of resources. It's all of those things. It can encompass all of those things, and that is a rallying cry that can bring in everyone who is. Well,
it can't because it specifically omits black men and black fathers. In
how?
Because if you read their platform, it does not include black men or black fathers.
And there's a reason for that. I mean,
because it is
the people who they're funded by.
No, I don't think it's about the funding. It is intent. They, as the organizers, when you talk about Garza and the other two, I can't think of their name, they intentionally want to break down the patriarchal system. So in order to do so, they have to elevate the others who have been otherized. And that is problematic if you want to talk about including black men specifically in this organization.
Why is that somehow harmful?
No, because number one.
How is that harm?
We're not going to create
well, my question is like, if we're talking about black lives and it doesn't matter who or what you are, how does that minimize our position in bringing someone up to our level? Because that's almost similar to white supremacists saying that if they lose ground or they lose power, or we're equal to their power, they somehow have lost something. But because we actually get stronger as we come together. And anything that wants to intentionally put dividers between us, that's our enemy.
What I'm saying to you is that the omission is seen as a divider. And as long as that omission exists, there are going to be a portion of our community that does not embrace their platform.
And that omission was not accidental. It wasn't an oversight. It was intentional. And anytime you try to break down the black family or the black father, you lose.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that you're missing. It's not the omission. It's the inclusion.
It's the omission.
No.
Rick. Listen, I might agree with you, but what I'm
inclusion of other, because if we're talking about black family, right? We are not excluded from that conversation.
You need to read that platform. Right? We are specifically excluded.
I'm not jumping out of the Democratic.
Are they saying we are not invited to the party?
You need to read that next week.
I'm not jumping out of the Democratic.
Hold on. I don't care what block. I don't care who. Listen. I don't care what do we call it, because I think that's semantics. I think we just need to, even when we disagree, until we get what we need to vote as a block. And they have intentionally degraded, diminished, and done everything in their power to separate us so we do not vote as a block.
Absolutely.
And then they fund people like Candace Owens to create energy around division.
That's
to
what I
even
mean.
further separate the think. So you can't even say I'm voting because I'm black the same way Jews vote because they're Jewish, or the same way Asians vote because they're Asian, or the same way Native Americans vote because they're Native. When you've got people like Candace Owens, we can't even vote. Say, well, what does the black people think? Well, I'm voting that way. They're doing everything in the power so that we don't vote that way, because as you see in Georgia, when you get everybody on the same page, we can shift the lever, period.
But you know what it is.
But but you also have to keep in mind that we also have to be willing to leave the Democratic Party if there's a better offer on the other side for us.
I don't care what we call it.
That's why it's necessary to have a block.
Going with you,
because the block control what we're given.
This is how I came into this presidential campaign. If you recall, that's what I said, is that we have to be willing to say, Democrats, we're not voting with you because the Republicans are offering what we need. Right?
Yeah, right.
But your needs, our needs and your needs are not the same.
Intelligent.
Hold on. But then we gotta revisit our approach to that, because your man Cube, who has always been on the team, Cube has never been off the team, went over there to Trump and said he got $500 billion. Now I don't know.
He didn't.
Hold on.
He got used.
Wait a minute. My point being is Cube has always been on the team, and Cube ain't no dummy. Cube has always been on. Cube was on the team when we didn't know he was on it. Cube was fighting for us ahead of where we was at. Okay. So Cube to me gets a little more deference than the average rapper going up there talking to Donald Trump.
That's not what happened. But that's not what happened, though. So they used him as a photo op. They had no intention.
None of them have intention.
No, exactly.
My problem.
All they did was use him as a photo op.
But none of them have intentions to give the black man anything.
Right. And
be honest about it. None of them. Not Biden. Not Trump.
You're right.
None of them.
Absolutely right.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Hear me out.
You're absolutely right.
Hear me out. My problem, exactly what Brother Nat just said. My problem wasn't that he went up there to Trump or that they weren't going to give it to him or whatever. My problem was our community handled him.
That was fucked up.
That was fucked up because he's always been on the team.
That's right.
That wasn't us.
But you know what it is. Is that
wasn't us. That was outside influence in.
Black Twitter, ran him over trolls,
and it's also
outside influencing in.
And
because
it's cancel culture as well. The cancel culture to cancel us or to cancel different people. They do that shit all the time.
I think the brother is 100. I think first of all, we all agreeing that we need our own, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's in agreement on that. The second thing is the brother said the most important thing, that if we're not voting as a block, then we ain't got no business even doing this shit, because it has to be organized, strategic, and compact, right? As a block. The third thing is we're missing the forest for the trees, because we're talking about federal elections. Politics is local. You want to vote as a block? You want to get this shit moving? You get this shit moving where you're at. A local trustee or councilman has more influence on your life in the next 5 minutes than the president does in the next 5 years. Him passing an ordinance where you live can affect you more greatly and more substantially and in due time before the president's policy actually unfolds.
Trickles
so
down.
Block voting is the key for us, because we have to form some form of unity. We don't got the money like that. Votes are capital. That's how we create capital for ourselves. Block.
And I think also we have to also invite everyone to the table within the community, because you're going to have Black conservative, Black liberal, and you have to be able to get behind closed doors and have an agreement.
And why this Black Lives Matter can be an umbrella.
Right, but it's not the umbrella. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's not the umbrella.
It could be.
It could be.
You have to look.
They can be a part of the umbrella. They can be a part of the umbrella because
let me make this point.
No, hold on, real quick. There are conservatives on the other side who do not believe in Black Lives Matter.
No, it's not even that. It's the fact of the matter. If you read Black Lives Matter platform, they specifically exclude Black men and Black fathers. And what I'm saying is, I can't rewrite their mission statement. I can't rewrite their platform. But if I were to, what I would suggest is that if they want to dismantle patriarchy, they should still include Black men and Black fathers, and then have the discussion in how do we reshape what the Black family looks like in this new and going forward in this new future.
So it's not impossible.
But they don't do that. That's what I'm trying to let you know. Because if they did, that would eliminate all of this friction that's happening between Black men and this organization. But they're unwilling to do that because they have another agenda.
What is their agenda?
To elevate non-patriarchal systems and family structures. And I'm not saying I'm not against that. What I'm saying is I have what is considered a traditional family. So, but if I'm to be included on this platform, you have to specifically name me on that platform.
And speak to my issue.
That's great, but I feel like that's something that we can't overcome. That's not impossible.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying right. I'm taking them for their word. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like if they want to include me, they have to reframe their platform.
If they reframe the platform,
but they don't have to reframe the entire platform
that they get.
I'm not saying they have to include you, but the platform has to say that it includes Black fathers and Black men.
The brother's right. If they reframe their platform, George Soros ain't kicking out. The brother's right, man. Like, let's stop playing. Let's call it what it is. It's a reason why George Soros is putting money behind that. How many billionaires you know putting money behind strong Black men to run themselves politically? How many?
LeBron, Jay-Z.
Thank you. And what do they seem to have in common with us? That they Black. Like, let's be honest about it. But I understand what you're saying. I think that Black Lives Matter plays a part of what we're talking about. But right. I think that if you're looking for something that's all inclusive, that's a bad way to step out front.
Right.
I don't think it's all inclusive yet.
No, we ain't even get there yet.
I feel like it has the potential to be.
We haven't even sat down and had the conversation at the barbecue in the corner with Black Lives Matter with the Blacks. Like, you know how you have that little let me talk to you over here. We haven't even had that conversation with them because they've grown so big so fast.
They're not interested in having that conversation.
What I know is that
that's what we need to realize.
What I know is that on the individual level, what it means to say Black Lives Matter, and from East Flatbush to East Oakland, people were marching in the streets, wearing the T-shirts, ready to throw themselves in front of barricades, in front of police vehicles. I saw it.
Yeah, but that wasn't Black Lives Matter.
That's not organization.
I know that, but it means more. That slogan means more than what their platform says on their website.
I can agree with that.
It means more to people than what most of these people have never gone to their website or read what their platform says.
But the thing is,
hold on. But they know that their life matters. And that's why they're out there in the street.
That's good. That's good at the beginning. That's good for the beginning. But when it comes to start to create policy and a movement,
who are they gonna go to?
That's my thing.
The movement is already started.
Who are the policymakers? Who are the policymakers?
When you start to make policy, when you sit around, because again, you have to get everybody at the table. You got to get BLM. You got to get Black conservatives. You got to even listen to the Candace Owens, because you have to bring everybody at the table.
No, you don't have to listen.
No, you don't have to bring Candace Owens. Stop playing. So
the idea is like now we start all over. We start from the beginning. We start from scratch, right?
But it's not.
We don't have to.
So I have a question. For Rick. Rick,
yes.
If what you're saying bears true, why does Black Lives Matter New York say their policies are in alignment with Black Lives Matter National, but we do not agree with 100% with the goals of Black Lives Matter National? Black Lives Matter New York does not align with their goals because it's run by a man, Hank, what is his name? Hawk. It's run by Hawk Newsom.
Hawk from the Bronx.
Hawk from the Bronx. Real dog, talk that real talk, out here fighting that fight. Shout out to him. And he does not 100% align, even though their mission globally is the same. The organizations are not in alignment. Why is that? Why do you think that is?
The organization will not last if they don't have a mission statement that they're in agreement with. If everybody's going in different directions, it's going to split into different factions and splinter off.
They agree on police brutality, but they disagree on political and social agenda. You got to go look at it.
What we know in our community is that people are afraid of afraid of homosexuals. They're afraid of transsexuals. They're afraid of all of these other things that we're talking about that need to be included into this conversation because they are Black lives.
Right? Rick, you know what's funny? I agree with you, but I think a lot of that is perpetrated on our community. Like our community.
No, dude.
Let me just really quick. I don't know black people. And I grew up in black neighborhood. I'm from the Bronx. I grew up in Freeport. I don't know black people for dogging or beating up black gays and dragging them and doing shit like that. I don't know black people for doing that. And you don't either. Like, we don't know black people for, you know black people who get together on a Friday night and go drag gays on the back of their car?
No.
I know you don't. Because black people don't do shit.
I don't. But I do know people who have not so nice things. I shouldn't say that I do know people because they're not people that I would hang out with, right? Exactly. But yeah, I've heard disparaging things about gay people. I'm Jamaican, dude. I'm Jamaican. Mm-hmm. It's part of the cultural, the music. This music that I won't even listen to anymore because it talks about the death or the murder of people that I might love that are friends of mine. It's part of the fabric of our community. You can't deny it and say that it doesn't exist.
I don't know because people killing other gay black people because they're gay.
You don't have to kill them. Do you have to kill them?
Well, no, but here's what
if you're inclusion,
let me tell you. But here's a reality of if somebody is trans walking in your neighborhood, they're more in danger than you are walking in your neighborhood. That's the real.
Yeah,
just like a woman walking at night in your neighborhood is more in danger than you are. That's the real.
But if your inclusion, if the agenda of your inclusion specifically denotes my exclusion, and then you require my support, and I don't give it,
what is my exclusion?
Because you're not on the platform. But here's what I say:
an intentional exclusion of the nuclear family.
Right, and I exactly.
That is
exactly the point.
I gotta read the platform. I don't know.
But here's the thing.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm completely ignorant of this.
And I gotta go change that.
Black Lives Matter, the national organization, does not have to change their platform necessarily. and they can work as long as they're willing to work in concert with another organization that supports the nuclear family. Now, if they're not willing to support that, because that is talking about bringing us together as a voting block or as a block of interest. Because if they're not willing to do that, then there's something really problematic about that.
You don't catch hell because you with Black Lives Matter.
I would love for you guys to name me another movement that's happened in the last 10 years that has motivated people more than what has happened in the last year.
No, you're right. You're right.
And that's hold on. It doesn't have to be what it is now, but it can be something different. It can be something better. We can improve upon it.
I reject that in the sense that I don't believe we have to ask organizations to change their missions. I believe that we need to create another organization that fits the mission that we want, and we need to work in concert.
This is part of our major. This is part of our problem.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yes,
because listen. Let me.
We're not a monolith. We're not a monolith.
Exactly.
We're not a monolith.
We as soon as we come to,
if somebody says we're not a monolith one more time in 2021, I'm going to shoot them. I'm going to figure out how to get a gun legally in New York City.
We're not a monolith. I know you're not leaving your house, so I'm not.
No, I will come to East Flatbush loaded, locked and loaded. I hate that phrase. I absolutely hate that phrase.
Well, look, we're not a monolith. We're not.
I hate you.
Okay, but Leon, why do you have a problem with that statement?
That's very clear. There's nothing very clear. And I've said it before. Yes, we're not a monolith, but there are certain specific things that we all have in common. We want safe streets. We want jobs. We want housing. We want healthcare. We want elimination of food deserts. That makes us sort of a monolith because we think that we just want to live healthy, safe lives.
No.
Show me the national organization that is bringing that to the forefront.
Let me rephrase what I was saying.
Show me the national organization that
Democrats.
is thinking that.
You trying to get me to come to the Bronx? The Working Family Party. The Working Family Party.
The WFP. The Green Party.
The red is too damn high.
That's what you're talking about is issue orientation, and that's what makes the block.
Exactly.
Because although we're not a monolith, but we do suffer from the same issues. And that's what will make the block cohesive. And listen, it's bigger than
but we haven't been able to come anywhere near close to that in the last 10 years, 20 years.
Longer than that. Keep going.
It's not.
I'll be longer than that.
We still have the issues. We spin. Even saying we're not a monolith is divisive. Saying we're not a monolith gives me permission to disagree and ignore my people. It does. It gives me an out. It gives me an out to support Leon's position, even if I should vote with Leon, even if I don't 1,000% agree. Whatever Leon's position is, that the five of us can vote on the same person. Saying monolith gives me an out to say I'm a Trump supporter. All of these things are spin and divisiveness. We should all just say, okay, who has our best interests in mind? What do they think? What is our 10-point plan? Everybody get on board. And then guess what? When we get these 10 things, John, those things you want over there, we'll add that on as number 11. Christine, what you care about, we'll add that on as number 12. But we don't do that. We go, well, we're not a monolith. And then what happens is go together. Or I don't.
So many. Or there's so many things that separate us.
What? Like what? Like what?
You know what separates us? MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, Huffington Post.
The brother.
That's part of it. Politics. That's part of it. That's part of it.
That's a large part of it. That builds people's narrative.
That's part of it.
Most people have no.
But socially, we're not all the same. Even if I look at my
difference
own
is so marginal and so minimized that it's not the thing that's separating us. Because at the end of the day, you want your kids to go to a safe school that teaches them a quality education.
Yes, the argument is always, how do we get there? That's the problem. That is the problem.
Well, we're at 12:25.
We can't stand under a single umbrella and say, like, how do we get there?
But that's not.
Who do we vote for?
Well,
how do we?
But
what's the strategy?
You're talking about the recipe.
That is the problem.
We all like spaghetti, but how much seasoning you put in your meat sauce, that's different. We all like spaghetti.
No, it's not.
You don't like spaghetti?
As a member of the Black Father Party, I have to jump off and go change. I have to go.
Jump
off and change
diapers. It's 12:25. We need to wrap this up. Listen,
we didn't read out one comment in comment section.
Listen, this is
shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody.
But quickly before we get off,
Nat, you set this shit on fire, bro.
Listen, you gotta come back, Nat.
I feel like I'm here watching a fight. Like y'all invited me, and I'm just watching
this every week. We do this every week. We do this every week, bro. We do this every week.
You know, Nat, you're always welcome to come back, man, and we'd love to come on your platform as well, man.
Appreciate y'all for this one, man. Appreciate y'all.
But before we get out of here, real quick, this is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to have these conversations, get ideas, and bring it to the table and vote as a block and get what the fuck we want. Because build. And that's that's the key thing, is to build. And it's important that we're doing this on a social platform, but it's important that we have these conversations in the background. So when we come out of that meeting, we don't look crazy, right? Because nobody's going to respect us looking crazy. And, you know, hey, this has been I had just listening and adding to it, and it's been great. And the comments have been going crazy. I'm normally on the comments, but this shit is too interesting. I can't, you know. Shout out to everybody who came in. You know, I'm just gonna start clicking comments. This is
it's an eye roll for me. Dan, get out of here.
But listen, Nat, once again, it's been a pleasure, brother.
Absolutely.
Now the gratitude is all mine, brother. Thank you, brother.
No, seriously, ever since Ben had introduced the idea of you coming on the show, man, I've been excited to talk to you, and you have not let this moment down, and I appreciate you being on the show, bro.
Oh, thank you, brother.
You dropped a lot of jewels tonight.
Yeah,
a lot of things I'm gonna think on based on what you said tonight, and I appreciate your presence, and you know, you blessed us tonight.
Yeah,
thank you, brother. Thank you.
Good fight, man.
Likewise, y'all gave me a lot. You gave me a lot to think about. Like, you know what I mean? These are arguments I usually have off camera. You know what I'm saying? With my producers. Like, you know, fuck that. We doing this way. And, I appreciate that.
But listen, real quick, if you haven't seen Waking the Giant, go check it out on YouTube. That's Waking the Giant.
Excellent show. And
the way I'll describe it is this: if you want to know about the political process and you want it from a layman's point of view, go check out Nat, because he's gonna break it down to you in our speak. It's not gonna be a whole bunch of political words. It's gonna be real talk, and he's gonna make you understand it, and you're gonna learn some shit. So check it out, man.
Thank you, brother. Wednesday night, Biden's cabinet. So make sure y'all check it. Wednesday.
Yeah. Seriously, you connect the dots in a way that I really appreciate, and I think a lot of other people will who have not already tuned into you. So keep up with the good work, bro.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Brother,
so that's been another Decoding 40 After Dark, baby.
Peace.
And we will see y'all another time.